What's up, everybody? This is QTheQreator back with another makeup tutorial. This time it's this fragmented, sort of devoid of color beneath the surface thing going on. If you want to see how I accomplish this look, then stay tuned. Okay, this is going to be another one of those voiceovers that's in all one shebang, so however this goes, this goes. Of course, I'm going to start off with kind of contouring my hairline because I haven't had a haircut in I don't know how long, and I knew that would be a part of my picture and a part of the framing of the work that I was doing, so I went ahead and did that just to give myself a clean framework. I am, of course, using the James Charles palette. The color is, oh gosh, what is that, No Beans or something like that? It's the darkest brown in the palette. You'll know it when you see it. And then, of course, I am using my LA Colors foundation to go in and contour that. I'm going to go in with my CNC Beauty palette and begin creating the segments of my face that I want to be without color. I had to mix the black from the CNC Beauty palette with my clown white. Ironically, there's actually a white in the CNC Beauty palette and they're like the same texture. For whatever reason, I don't know why I didn't think to mix those, so I didn't, but the clown white is a little thicker than that CNC Beauty palette's consistency of those colors, so it took me a little while to get them to a nice consistency to where I could blend them onto my face without them being like splotchy once the clown white came through. So ultimately it ended up taking me a little while to blend those two together because the clown white tends to be a little thicker. So yeah, child, it took me a little extra time. Don't do like me. Anyway, so once I get the segments done on my face, I'm going to, of course, fill those in. I left the section around my eyes out because I wanted to go in and do my eyebrows first because I was nervous about going on top of this cream. Even once I had set it with either a cream or a powder, I was just afraid that it would begin to mix, and I really wanted those brows to be darker, not necessarily like super black, but I didn't want them to turn out being too grayscaled, so I went ahead and did those, and then I went back in and contoured using that same mixture, that gray sort of grayscale mixture that I created with my clown white and the CNC Beauty palette. So after getting that done, I'm going to now go along the top and side edges of all of those sections using the red from that same CNC Beauty palette. Once I finish that, I'm going to use the red from my B&H Cosmetics palette to now try to set that cream. Ironically, for whatever reason, that just didn't really work well, trying to set that with an actual eyeshadow. So I just went ahead and went over all of it with translucent powder, and then I'm going to go back and redo the red just to make it a little more pigmented later. From that same palette, I am using a sort of like steel gray color to now go along the edges of the red and begin contouring and giving that a little bit of dimension. Oh yeah, so I lied. I started out that contouring with the James Charles palette and I was using the color Spooky, but for whatever reason it's not as like super pigmented, so when it goes on it sometimes seems like it's gray, which is why I thought it was the gray. When I go back in with my blending brush and I begin to blend out those edges, that's the gray from not the CNC Beauty palette but the B&H Cosmetics palette. I'm also using that to begin contouring my nose and also creating some dimension in my lid. So after I do some contouring, I really wanted those lines to be a little darker, so I'm going back in with the James Charles palette using the color Spooky and just trying to create a little bit darker depth to the dimension I was creating. I'm going to use my La Femme palette to begin to deepen my crease because the black in that is just a little bit more pigmented than the James Charles palette, and I'm also going to begin to take that into my other contours. So anyone that knows me knows that one of my biggest pet peeves are those blunt brows. I hate people that at the bridge of their brows have that blunt edge. I think it's terrible. It's so dreadful. Who does that in 2021? Like, sis, can we take that back to 2013 and leave it? Oh my God. Anyway, so of course I begin to blend out the edges of that, and then I'm also going to go into my lower lid with that La Femme palette just to create some dimension there and create some shading there. And now I'm going back with my Fit Me Matte and Poreless foundation by Maybelline. I know one of the colors is Cappuccino. I'm not sure what the other color is. I have to mix them together to get a good color to match my skin tone. So that's for me. You use what's good for you, child. If you really want to know, ask about it, and then I'll go look and I'll put it in the comment section. But I'm just going along the edges of those sections that I've created and cleaning them up, as well as, of course, putting foundation on my natural skin tone. Once I get all of that blended out, I'm going to again go back into the black in those sections that I've segmented off just to give them a little bit more depth, because of course once I dim my lights and everything to take my pictures, I really want that to look like there's some dimension there. So I want those lines to not necessarily be harsh or hard, but I do want them to have some darkness to them just to help. Oh, well, there you go. See, now y'all see what I mean. So yeah, that's a completed look. I think I'm gonna call it like fading out or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I really enjoyed this one, y'all. Of course, as always, follow me on social media. Let's be friends. Turn on those notifications. Subscribe, like, comment, share, all of that good stuff. And see you guys next time.